Hello, Linda.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah. So, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So, let me ask you quickly a few questions. How is your country? How is your region? How is your state? And especially in the context of COVID-19.
Things are better. In our country, they're a little bit better. We still have about 2,500 deaths per day. I think we've had 525,000 deaths, so over 500,000. But in our state, it's better. So it's gone down in our state, and in our county, we only have like 2 active cases maybe right now, and I just got my second vaccine on Wednesday.
That's good.
So,
That's good news.
and I haven't had it, but I've had a lot of students who have had it. So I've probably had a third of my students have had COVID, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Linda, let me tell you one thing that I'm planning to visit your country in the month of September. Do you think that the pandemic will slow down by the time of September?
By the time what?
Yeah, I'm planning to visit your country in the month
Oh,
of September. Do
mhm.
you think that the pandemic prevailing in your country will slow down by that time?
Yeah, I do. I think by the summer, I think most people will be vaccinated by then. Will you be vaccinated?
No,
Will
I
you
think
have
the
your
process
vaccine?
has started. The process has started here in India, but it is right now only for the frontline workers like nurses, doctors, and only the health fraternity only getting the vaccination. And we have not yet taken the any shots as of now. Okay.
I
Uh,
would recommend getting the vaccine before you come.
yeah, definitely.
But then there are,
Yeah, go ahead.
what did you say?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to take the vaccination before I visit your country because I know that America is one of the most devastated country as far as the COVID-19 is concerned. So
Mhm.
we have to take the preventive measures before we land in America. So I know
Right.
that. So Linda, I'm very happy today. I'm really thrilled today and to have you in my class. So look at the faces of my students. They are so eager to witness some wonders in your classroom. I know that I have received a video a long time ago. Actually, I received a video a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
especially in the COVID-19, and your video really most of my students. So today we are so curious to witness your classroom, and I can see the some of the microscope right beside you, and there are so many other scientific equipments also there. So before I ask my students to introduce you, could you please introduce yourself first?
Yep. I'm Linda Rost, and I teach high school science in Baker, Montana. And I teach biology and chemistry mostly. And I'm also the 2020 Montana Teacher of the Year. And I'm so excited to meet you all.
Just so excited. So Linda, shall I allow my students to ask you some questions, or would you like to show something before I allow my students to ask the questions? What would you like to do? Would you like to?
Um, Whoops. I have a map that I wanted to show you, and I can show you where I am. And then you can have your students ask questions.
Yeah,
And I just broke it. Um, okay. Can you see that?
yeah, we can, we can.
Does it? Oh, it's upside down actually. Okay. Does it look like a normal world map?
Yeah,
Or
yes,
does it
it
look
looks
different?
no, not not much. I think it looks like a normal map. But as for me, I think it looks like a normal map. So could you please explain about it? Is there any specialty in this map?
Yeah, so this is actually an upside down map. Usually maps are shown this way,
Oh, yeah, you are right.
but it doesn't
Absolutely.
really matter. It doesn't matter if the map is this way or this way.
Oh,
It's the same. So
Oh, that's great.
So
That's lovely.
you all are here, right?
Yeah, India.
That we're,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
and
there.
I am right around here. That's where I live. So it's morning, evening there, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that was the first thing I wanted to know, and then we can do questions.
Yeah. Let's invite some of the students. Bhagyasri. Bhagyasri, start with you today.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Bhagyashree. I am studying 7th grade. My hobbies are reading books, playing games. My future ambition is doctor. My question is, how do we develop scientific temper?
What was the last word?
Online class.
How do we develop scientific temper?
Temper?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Linda, question is how can students develop the scientific temper among the students?
I think that's a really good question. And I think the best way for you all to be able to do science, so to do scientific experiment a lot and learn about what it's like to actually do science like a scientist.
Yes. Yeah, any more questions from Neeraja? Neeraja, do you have any question from your side?
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Neeraja, ask your
My name is Neeraja. I am studying 9th class. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. I want to ask a question, ma'am.
Okay.
What is the pH value of blood in a human body?
I think that's a great question. I think it's like 7.4. So it's almost neutral, but a little bit basic. And our body has different ways of keeping it steady. One way is actually through our breathing. So when we breathe, if we have too much CO2, that makes it acidic. So it'll drop the pH. And then if we have more oxygen, it makes it higher. So we can breathe more quickly or more slowly to adjust our pH.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Navisai, do you have any question from your side? Navisai.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Navya. I'm studying 10th grade. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why should we add any chemical before we test in microscope?
Why should we add a chemical?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes we add chemicals to dye the cells, so it changes them colors. So we can see like the nucleus or like the chromosomes. Sometimes we also add chemicals if we want to look at the chromosomes and like kind of freeze them so that they don't change. And then we can look at them and count them. Is that what you mean?
So Navya, yeah, Navya, do you have any specific question to ask? Other than that, Navya, do you have any additional or supplementary question in this regard?
No.
Hopefully I answered it.
Okay. Next, Vedasri. Vedasri, it is your turn. Veda, or Varshita, Venkata Sivanagashmi. It's your turn. Venkata Sivanagashmi.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Oh,
My name is. How are you, ma'am?
good. Thank you. How are you?
How are you, ma'am?
So, yeah, Venkata
Hi,
Sivanagashmi.
ma'am.
Yes, ask your question,
Sir.
Venkata Sivanagashmi. Ask your question. Don't waste your time.
Hi, ma'am.
My name is Nagalakshmi. I am studying 7th grade. My hobbies are reading books, playing games. My question is, what are the job opportunities there for those who are good at science?
In the United States?
Yes, yes, exactly.
So there are a lot.
ma'am.
I would say right now, probably the medical field. So like doctors, that field is really important. And there are shortages. There aren't enough doctors and nurses. And then also engineers. So if you're interested in science, one way to go is looking at engineering, like chemical engineering or bioengineering or mechanical engineering. Those are really good jobs right now too. They're really growing.
Right. Varshita, it's your turn. Varshita.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
How are you, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. Thank you. My name is Vashita. I'm studying 9th grade. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. Can I ask a question, ma'am?
Yes.
How to improve science?
How do you improve science?
Yes, ma'am.
I think that probably the biggest problem with science right now is that a lot of people who aren't scientists don't understand it. So I think that science has made a lot of really great discoveries, but then there are a lot of people who don't understand science. So I think that's what we need to work on now, is having just like all people understand science better so that they can do what the scientists are telling them.
Thank you.
Taslima. Taslima, it's your turn.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Taslima. I am studying 7th grade. My hobbies are reading books, playing games. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes.
How do you teach science subject for your students?
So a lot of what we do in science is they are doing experiments. So we also learn where, like, I'm in front of the class and I'm teaching them, but they also do a lot of experiments, and they decide on the experiments to do, they decide on how to do them, and then they do the whole experiment and then present it. So that's a lot of the science that we do in the classroom.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Vayasri, Ramakrishna, Vayasri or Ramakrishna. Sahiti. Sahiti, go ahead and ask the question. Sahiti. Yes, Dada, do you have any question? You can just ask first. Sahiti is getting ready to ask the question. Yes, please.
Hello.
My name is Yashi. I'm studying in 9th grade. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes.
Explain about
So,
teaching philosophy.
Philosophy.
so Linda, actually her question, yeah, she's asking about your teaching philosophy. What is your teaching philosophy?
Oh, that's a good question. So my philosophy is that students should learn science the way that scientists do science. So that my students should be the scientists and they should experience science that way. So that's my philosophy.
Great, great philosophy. So yeah, next Sahiti, it's your turn. Go ahead. Sahiti. Sahiti, unmute yourself. Sahiti, unmute yourself. You are muting your microphone.
Sir, is
Yes.
it?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
clear
listening?
now. Yes, it's audible. Just
Hi, ma'am. My name is.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Sahiti. I am studying 9th grade. The unified mass of the oxygen is 16. Why is 16 belongs to?
Why is oxygen 16?
The unified mass of oxygen is 16. Why 16? What is the purpose of why 16 it belongs to?
Okay, so the mass is based on how many protons and neutrons that oxygen has. So oxygen has 8 protons and 8 neutrons, and those add up to 16. And every element has its own atomic mass. So every element is going to weigh a different amount depending on what type of element it is and how many protons and neutrons it has. The electrons don't really matter because they don't really weigh anything.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I have another doubt. What is the largest mass of the element? What is the largest mass of the element? Which element is contained very large mass?
So the smallest one is hydrogen, and that has a mass of 1. Hydrogen is actually just a proton. And some of the bigger ones, gosh, I don't know off the top of my head. Like gold is pretty big if you have gold. Silver is also pretty big. Let me pull one up here. What are some other ones? Mercury, if you've played with mercury, it's a liquid metal. That one's pretty heavy. That one has a high mass. And then some of the other ones you probably haven't like ever seen. They don't really exist. So those are the heaviest ones.
Thank you so much for solving my doubt, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Next, yeah, Kali Krishna or Ishmita. Kali Krishna or Ishmita. Anyone else? Or Dvalita, Lohita. Yes. Sai Sneha. So anyone can ask. Now there is a choice among these three.
Sir, I will ask the question.
Yes, Jagadish.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Gatti Jagadish. My hobbies are reading books, playing games, and watching TV.
It's nice
I
to
ask
meet you.
Linda, actually, Linda, let me tell you something about this guy. And he's one of the youngest student in this Zoom class. He is studying 6th grade. Yeah, Jagadish, go ahead and ask the question.
What is your favorite subject, ma'am?
My favorite subject is science, and probably chemistry. Yeah, that's
my favorite subject is English, ma'am.
nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, Lohita, it is your turn.
Okay, sir. Hi, ma'am. My name is Lohita. My hobbies are reading books, playing games, watching TV. I will ask one question, ma'am.
Okay.
How to improve science?
I think the best way, and I kind of answered this with another one, is to make sure that people who aren't scientists understand science. I think that's the biggest problem right now. Scientists are doing really good work, they're doing good research, but then a lot of people don't understand it. And so they're not doing what the scientists are saying. And that is really important with the pandemic in the United States, because they're not wearing masks, they're not distancing, and so the virus is really bad now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Linda, actually, I have something to share with you. In India, actually, in my region, most of the science teachers, whether it is a physics teacher or chemistry teacher, they teach the physical science or chemistry in a traditional method. Traditional method means they don't use any equipment. They don't show any experiments. So they simply explain it critically. Do you think that the system that these teachers are teaching can be helpful to the students to develop the scientific temper among them? And as an English teacher, actually, I have nothing to do with the science. But as a keen observer, these teachers doing something really injustice to their job of not showing any equipment. Even they don't show even one experiment at a time in a year. So that's really ridiculous. So on seeing these things, I am sometimes I feel really disappointed the way these teachers are teaching the students. Tell me something. In order to make the students so curious about science, what should be the role of science teacher?
Yeah, I think that it's hard for students to, unless they really like science already, it's really hard for students to get into science unless they're doing their own experiments. So when they can decide what experiment they want to do and develop the whole thing, that's when students get really interested in science. And then they want to learn everything. Then they're really interested in all of science. But they really need to have that opportunity to do their own experiments for sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
I would not be
Let
interested
me-
in science if I wouldn't have done experiments when I was a kid.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Sai Sneha, it's your turn. Sai Sneha. Sai Sneha. Unmute yourself.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am.
Sai Sneha, I think it seems that you have some internet issues, I think. Sai Sneha, I'm sorry. I'm trying some other person. Krishna, it's your turn.
Okay, sir. Sir, they have a doubt about
Sai Sneha, yeah. I will come to science. Krishna,
Yes, sir. Can I ask you
yes, you can ask, but I will come back to you a little later. Ale Krishna, do you have any question? Zwalita,
Okay. She is asking about subatomic particles.
Subatomic particles?
Ma'am, she is asking, please explain about subatomic main particles of subatomic.
Okay, so the three subatomic particles that are most common are protons, electrons, and neutrons. Protons are positively charged and they're in the nucleus. And neutrons don't have a charge, they're in the nucleus too, and those two weigh about the same. And then electrons are in the electron cloud around, and they hardly weigh anything. And there are actually smaller particles. The protons and neutrons are actually made of quarks. Each one is made of 3 quarks.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
next, Kali Krishna, are you still there? Ramakrishna.
Sir, I will ask one question, sir.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Grade. My question is, photosynthesis generally takes place in which parts of?
Ask clearly. Kali Krishna, ask your question clearly. Kali Krishna, are you still available? It seems that we have lost
Photosynthesis generally takes place. Photosynthesis generally takes place in which parts of plant?
Kali Krishna, your voice is breaking. I think we are unable. We hardly hear your voice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And if you want to ask this question, type in the chat box so that we can check the question and the ma'am can answer to your question. Kali Krishna. Okay. Next, Linda, and would you like to show any equipment from your classroom? And before I ask some more questions, would you like to show some experiments?
Yes, I would. I'm at my house now, so these are just things I have at my house, and I think my daughter's gonna help too. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna turn my camera and then I'll show you some things. So I like to have lots of different animals at home. We have chickens outside, and oh, I see his question now. Photosynthesis generally takes place in what part of the plant? So usually in the leaves, the green parts, and there are special cells called palisade mesophyll cells that have more chloroplasts, and that's where photosynthesis takes place. Okay, so we have a lot of animals. This is Rye. This is my daughter Rye, and she's gonna help me today. She is, and she's in 2nd grade. And we have chickens and peacocks, which are these big, beautiful birds. And we have ducks and guineas. But we also have little animals in the house. So this, I'm going to turn my camera. This is our worm farm. and we use it to compost. So we use it to break down like vegetables and things like that. So I'll open it up here. And it looks gross, but let's see if I can move the camera. So this is what it looks like. And we put like eggshells in it, and these are from plants. And these are corn husks, and this is a coffee filter. And the worms are here. Let's see, right here. So that's one of the worms, and they eat all of this and they make soil. So if you look underneath, I have another layer here. Those are all the worms. And they're eating all of that and turning it into soil. So we'll be able to use this soil for my plant. Do you all have any questions on the worms?
I would like to ask my students. So students, do you have any questions regarding the worms? As you know that the worms are actually helpful to the soil and to make the soil fertile. So you always use the worm, I think. So if you have any questions regarding the worms, you can ask. Yes. Any more questions regarding worms? Okay, Linda, you just go ahead and explain some other thing.
I wanted to show you also, this is an egg for the worm. And so they're actually laying eggs and reproducing in this. So you can see the little tiny egg right there. So hopefully we'll get more worms to be produced.
So, Linda,
so that's one of our pets.
Yeah. Linda, how long it takes? How long it takes to lay the eggs?
I'm not sure. I have had these for maybe a month, and there are quite a few eggs, but I'm not sure how long it takes. But they're doing really well. I've had to add that second layer because they have so much soil. So
I can see. Yeah. So is there anything that we can see?
Yes, sir. I have a doubt about experiment.
Yes, yes.
What was that?
Ma'am, what is the name of that experiment? Why did you do that experiment? Is there any purpose?
Yeah, the worms are called red wigglers. So they're not earthworms, they're different. And I did this so that I could make soil out of our garbage. So I wanted to use some of the vegetables that we don't use and things like that to make soil out of it so that I could use it for my plants. And these actually also make worm tea, which is, let me show you this. They have this little spout, and it produces liquid, and it's like brown, and you can also water plants with that. I don't think there's any in it right now, but so that's another reason why I did it. And my students at school do experiments with these worms too. So that's one type, and then I'll show you another animal that I have. Okay, can you move a little bit, right?
Hi, tell me something about yourself, lovely baby.
You want to tell about yourself?
Tell me something.
Hi, little kid.
Yeah. Tell me something about yourself.
How would you like? What your hobbies are? What do you like to do? Hey, tell them that you like to play with duckies. You tell them. You tell them that you like to play with duckies.
I also like to play with duckies.
Did you hear her?
No. Yeah.
She likes
Could you
to play with her ducks.
Oh. So what's your future ambition? What do you want to be when you grow up?
What do you want to be?
A doctor.
Oh,
Can you say louder?
Doctor.
A doctor.
Great. Great.
You want to show her?
Which doctor? You mean? Yeah. It seems that lizard. Is it lizard?
Yep, this is a lizard. His name is Quigley.
It's a bearded dragon.
It's a bearded dragon. Should we show him how we
Explain.
Quigley? Okay, so we're going to show you how we feed Quigley. He eats cockroaches. So we have a bunch of cockroaches too. Let's bring the cockroaches up. Okay. And I'll bring the camera over. Okay, Quigley, you go there. So these are cockroaches that we have here in the house. They look like that.
We need cockroaches.
They don't hurt. These are males because they have wings. And then this is a female. It has smaller wings. And these are the babies. So this is what the lizard eats. These cockroaches, they live in these egg cartons, and this is their water. So they drink water crystals. They're little crystals and we put water on them. I'll show you.
You don't any fear about that, ma'am?
What's that?
You don't any fear about that?
No. I'm adding some water. So that's what they drink. Oh, thank you, Rai.
Very fear about the insects.
They don't bite or they don't hurt you. They're very safe. This is what they eat, and it's actually chicken food. So this is the same thing that we feed our chickens.
Yeah.
And I'll show you how we feed the lizard. Let me see if I can you hold the camera? So I have one here in my hand. And let me see if I can get him to eat. Come on, quickly. Sorry, I'm not holding the camera very well.
Ma'am, it is real.
Yeah, these are real. This is his food.
Oh, I think it is a toy.
He's not.
Oh, it's not.
No.
It's a real one.
I think it was a toy.
No, it looks like a toy, but it's not a toy.
No, he's real.
It's a lizard. Yeah, it's
He's
real.
not eating, but
He's not hungry.
I only fed him one last night so that he would eat tonight or this morning. Oh, there he is. Open your mouth. Sometimes if I try to stick my hand in his mouth, he'll bite me. So I try not to. There we go. He's eating. Good, Rai, you're doing great. He eats like 8 at a time.
He'll eat per day.
Yeah. So that is our lizard. Those are some of the animals that we have at home. We have another kind of worm too, but I won't show you that. What?
U.S.A. animal lovers.
He'll get used to the spices you have one, like I.
Yep, he's our little pet. And the other thing that I was going to show you was just my microscope. I don't know if we have time to look at that, but this is the microscope that we have at home. And if you're interested in science, if you could get a microscope and use that, that's a really great way to learn science.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you how to use it?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. Linda, let me tell you one thing. We have in this Zoom, we have 6 minutes time is left, but we have to relog in again to complete our session. So 6 minutes, after 6 minutes, we lose the connection, and after that we have to relog in again, and you can complete the demonstration. You can answer to my students' questions.
Okay.
So you can continue to the microscope, no problem. Still 5 minutes more time left.
Okay, and I also have the mask experiment that I did that I can show them once we get back on.
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is my microscope, our microscope. My kids use it too. We turn on the light. Let me switch the camera. So we turn on the light and it shines a light through here. So down here is the light, and then it has a bunch of lenses and it magnifies the image. And so I have some different slides in this box. It's fine, right? They can see. I have different slides in here. I'll open it.
Use one.
I'll try to. So this has a whole bunch of different slides, and you can buy something like this, and it has a whole bunch of specimens that you can look at.
Hold on, let's do a.
Let me find a good one. Hold on. Let me find a good one. This is my son, Lucas.
20.
Do you want to show Lucas?
Number 20.
This is Lucas. He is, Lucas, you want to tell about yourself?
Hello, how are you?
I'm
Hello, how
9
are
years
you?
old. I watched a lot of science videos that dig really deep. It takes days to finish.
What is your life ambition? What do you want to be? Oh,
He's in 4th grade. Okay, so this slide that I have here is Zea mays, and this is corn. If you have corn there. So I'll put it in the microscope. Can you kind of shine it down? Okay, like right there. Okay, so I'll put it in like this, and it has a little clamp that keeps it in place. And then I'm able to move it around. Where is it? There we go. I'm able to move it around, go up a little, right? So I can see what I'm looking at. Okay, and I'm gonna try to look at it and then show you with the camera. But let me, hold on, look. Let me see if I can get a good image of it.
Let me see what it looks like.
Just a second. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. There it is. Oh yeah,
Can I
that's
see it?
pretty. Yeah, hold on. Okay.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, let's see if we can get it on the webcam.
Let's go.
I've done this before. I hope it works. Whoops. Okay, let's see if I can. Is it? Maybe. My cord isn't long enough. Let's see. Oh, I almost had it. There, can you kind of see it?
It's just like the.
Right there a little bit. So that's corn. Mhm. Put this back here. So we use this microscope to look at these slides, but we also can use it to look at like water from a pond or a lake to see what kind of organisms are in it. So do you guys want to look at a few more things? They're going to use the microscope. And I'll start telling about the mask experiment that I did. That works.
yes, please.
And let me see, can you enable so that I can share my screen?
I can enable you.
And then I will look for, I have the file open, but I'll look for some videos too.
Complete now. I have enabled you.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
We should just.
Okay,
we
so I'll
should
go
just
here.
pick random.
Can you see like a blue presentation? Okay. All right, so this is an experiment that I did with my students with masks, and I'll show you a video in a minute. But I wanted to know what type of, how the different masks worked and how much bacteria they prevented from going through. The virus is not bacteria, but we can't work with the virus. And I have a type of bacteria that I have at school that we can work with. So we wanted to know how much bacteria the masks block. And our hypothesis, our null, was that there would not be a difference. And then the alternative was that the KN95 and the surgical masks would block the bacteria the best. So that's what we hypothesized. And these are our variables. When we're designing experiments, we write down these variables. So the independent variable was the type of mask, and then the dependent variable was how much bacteria was grown, and then the control was no mask. So these are the steps. I made some bacteria in a liquid, and I'll show you that in the video. And then I made some Petri dishes. I put the bacteria in a spray bottle. And then I sprayed the bottle through a hole in a face. And I sprayed it into a Petri dish to see how much, so then I put a mask in front to see how much bacteria went through the mask. So, and I think that our time might end, but I'll get back on. But let me try to find the video of this. I think it's this one. Let's see here.
Here we go. Look.
It would be this one. Can you still see, can you see the video?